Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Steve again, Harmless Rebel. This video is going to be a little bit different. We're going to look at a little bit of psychobilly and some second and third wave ska. So let's kind of jump in here. I'm going to start off with some second wave ska from Two Tone Records. Two Tone Records is a favorite of mine. I really got into them in the late 80s. I was introduced to hardcore punk, and a couple of the hardcore punk guys that I used to hang out with, or one of the guys I used to hang out with was also a big fan of ska. He had a big old Two-Tone Records, or just a big old two-tone tattoo. And I was always a fan, again, from hearing up. And honestly, I knew some of the songs from growing up because they were all over the radio, especially songs from Madness, from The Beat, and from The Special. So I already knew some of the stuff, but I had never delved into any of the music, and finally did in the late 80s, especially the early 90s. This is a reissue of the Dance Craze soundtrack. So Dance Craze was a video or a movie from, what year was it? 81? Yeah, so 81. And it was basically a live video of all the different two-tone bands playing live. And each band had a couple of songs in the movie. I believe the movie, or I know the movie was just redone too. I'm kind of disappointed that this box set didn't include the movie. It really should have. That would have made this a perfect package, but you have to get that separately. And I think I am going to order it. But from what I understand, they remastered the movie. It looks and sounds fantastic. They killed it here. The original album sounded really good, but they cleaned it up quite a bit. And then they also included the deluxe edition here. So on disc 1, oh, this is cool. You've also got a huge movie poster. I'm not going to fold that all the way out. You won't be able to see it anyway. So album 1 is the original soundtrack. So this is the cover of the original album. So each of these has the master tape boxes, but it comes with the original soundtrack, and then it comes with the deluxe edition. Honestly, they could have just released a deluxe edition because everything from here is also on here, if I remember correctly. Let's see, Concrete Jungle. Yeah. So what this is the deluxe edition is every song from the movie. So I believe you have a few songs from each band. A couple have more than a few. I mean, Madness is huge, so they have like 5 songs on here. The Specials have 4 or 5. It's fantastic, though. I really dug this. Like I said, you don't even need the original soundtrack because you have the deluxe that has everything. I get why they did the original soundtrack as well. I think they should have just released it separately and done the deluxe separately, which they did. And the only way to get the deluxe version is through this box set, which wasn't much. I mean, it was I think it was like 39 or 40. So not bad for three albums. They did a real good job on them. But you've got Bad Manners, you've got The Beat, you've got the Body Snatchers, Madness, the Selector, the Specials. All of these bands I was familiar with except the Body Snatchers. I've never owned any of their albums, and I really dug the Body Snatchers live stuff. Well, this is all live, but I really enjoyed the Body Snatchers on here. Played this quite a bit. Again, I'm fans of all these bands to start with. Let's move on to, do we have any other ska here? Yeah. So the other ska band, I'm sorry, we have another two-tone. They just redid this one. They did a fantastic job on this. This is one of those comps. It's been around. I mean, it was originally 82, I believe. Does it say? The original comp was from 81 or 82. And the comp is this, our two-tone. It's one that I've always wanted, but every time I see it, it's trashed. So it's nice to finally have a really nice pressed copy. So this was done for Record Store Day a few years ago. I was going to buy it, but they wanted too much for it. I think they had it marked at like $38, which was too much for a single album. And then it just got repressed this last year with there's 3 or 4 different colors that this came in. It's all the same record though. It got pressed in a different color jacket, not the vinyl. But it's the same exact stamper as Record Store Day, and this was like $19. So one of the other downsides of Record Store Day is they do stuff like this all the time. You know, on Record Store Day, they'll do a first release where it gets released for $40, and then, you know, a year later, 6 months later, you can buy a repress for $20. Same thing though. You got the Specials, Madness, the Selector, Body Snatchers. I mean, basically the same bands. You've also got Rico in the Special AKA, which is the Specials later on. The Rico stuff is pretty cool though. And the Rhonda and the Special AKA, the Boiler, that was a song I didn't know, and I really enjoyed that one as well. But this are two-tone. And yes, I'm saying that correctly. It is this are two-tone, not this is two-tone. Next up, a little bit of third wave ska. This is an album that I've wanted on vinyl since the mid-90s. I don't believe it was originally pressed. About 10 years ago, what's the label? Enjoy the Ride did it maybe 5 years ago. And the price of those went up into the $100+ range. And they finally did a repress last year, and even these are already starting to shoot up to $60 or $70. But this is Turn Off the Radio from Real Big Fish. I've always loved this album. I played the crap out of it when it came out. Again, another label that just refuses to do anything about the artwork. I mean, it looks horrible, but it sounds fantastic. Their big hit was Sell Out. What's the other one? She Has a Girlfriend Now. Were both the big hits, but Sell Out was the one that was all over the radio at the time. Still a fantastic album, and really happy to have this one on vinyl. And then they also repressed this one a couple weeks later, maybe a month later, so I ordered this one as well. This was from a few years later. Let's see if it says. I think this was from the early 2000s, but this is Candy Coated Fury, again from Real Big Fish. This was a couple albums after that one. It's okay. It's good. It's not great. It's not the classic that the first album was there that I showed. That's actually their second album. But the bonus tracks are the best part, which is all live. And I really dug those. That's my favorite part of this from 2013, live from 2013. I really enjoyed this, though. It's not one I'll pull out. It's one of those things I'll probably listen to the first one and then pull out the second one from time to time. I really wish they would do the EP that the band did. Next up, we've got a little bit of Psychobilly with the Necromantics. I've actually had this for about a year now. I've pulled it out a bunch of times to play it. Just never showed it in the video, but this was brought back again from the Necromantics. I loved the first 4 Necromantics album. So what they did, their third album was called Brought Back to Life. Excuse me. It was a great album. A few years later, though, when they signed to... what label is this? Give me a second. To Hellcat Records. They wanted to redo this album, and... there was an original intro for the album that wasn't on the original album because the tape was damaged in the studio. Tape technology has advanced since then. They were able to go back and repair that tape. So the intro to the album is on here when it wasn't on the original. And they also did different versions of 2 of the songs. The biggest one is Necrophilia, which is one of their biggest hits. It's one that is a staple at all their shows. And they did a different version on here with some organs. It's really cool. So I was really happy to have this. This is an original pressing from, what was it, 05, I believe, when this was done. And they also redid the art. The original artwork on here was horrible. I mean, it was really bad. So they released it with this. And if you're familiar with the Necromantics, this is kind of the look of most of their other albums. Different pictures of their heads. One with all black. There's a few real similar to this. So this is more in line with the images that they were going for than that original third album was. Sounds fantastic, though. Really happy to have that in the collection as well. And then last but not least, some people consider these guys Psychobilly. I consider them more straight up rockabilly, but it's Reverend Horton Heat. So a few labels have been repressing their stuff lately. Who was this? Sub Pop last year repressed the 3 albums that they released on Sub Pop. They all sound fantastic. This is one of them. This is Liquor in the Front. You can't go wrong with any of the Reverend Horton Heat albums. I have all of them. I love them all. These few, though, I've been wanting on vinyl for a long time. They were pressed originally in the 90s, but those things are going for well over $100. Actually, last time I saw Reverend Horton Heat, I was hoping that these would come in before I saw them so I could get them signed, and they didn't. They came up like a week later, which didn't matter because Jim Heath didn't end up coming back out to sign stuff. He usually does. That night he didn't though, so I got some stuff signed by Jimbo. But next time he comes through, I'll definitely try to get some stuff signed. But regardless, they did a fantastic job on these. Then Real Gone Music did Spend the Night in a Box. This was 2000, I think, when this one came out. But this was originally recorded or released on Kraft. So it's cool that they finally repressed it. I think this one might have been pressed to vinyl for the first time. And then last but not least, we just had the holiday season, and one of my favorite Christmas albums of all time is We Three Kings from Reverend Horton Heat. I play this nonstop. Los Straitjackets, and there's a couple of other bands that do like rockabilly versions of Christmas songs. There's actually a Rockabilly Christmas channel on not Spotify, but whatever the live streaming. I can't think of the name of it off the top of my head. Regardless, there's a Rockabilly Christmas channel that I listen to starting in mid-November all the way through Christmas, and they play a lot of this. This was original copies of this were going for $150. This was always on my want list. And then the year before last, it finally got repressed for Record Store Day. So I was super stoked. And now you can get this for like $20 all day long. So highly recommend this one for you Christmas guys and gals. But that's it. I'll see you soon, VC. Take care. Bye.